let's make a TBR jar together. Now that I have cut my TBR shelf in half and purged over 150 books, I need to actually read my physical TBR and keep it manageable. I see a lot of other readers gamifying it and making it fun by using a TBR jar, and I thought, why not try it and see if this also works for me? Now, I am a mood reader, and I don't think I could restrict myself by creating a set TBR at the beginning of every month, but I do like to have certain books that I want to read, and I think it'd be fun to do at least one TBR jar selection each month. So today I'm going to take all of the titles of my TBR, put them in this jar, and then select the one that I'll be reading in August. I got this TBR jar from an Illumicrate box a few months ago, and it's just been sitting on my shelf empty ever since then. So why not put it to good use? This morning I went to a craft store where I got some fun paper where I will write the names of all the titles of all the books on my TBR on, plus maybe some fun prompts on there, we'll see. Then I found a TikTok tutorial on how to turn strips of paper into those little origami stars, and then I'm gonna put them in this TBR jar and select one and then read whatever it tells me to read for the month of August as my TBR jar selection for this month. I have to show you this fun paper I got. I picked out 3 pieces and I let Brady pick out whichever one he wanted me to use, and you'll have to tell me in the comments which one you think was his choice. It is the one you think it is. All right, let's do this. have regrets about the star thing, and we might just be folding the rest of them. I don't know. The stars are just not as fun as I thought they would be. I used to be like an origami kid, and I thought this would be really fun, but I think part of it is that I'm actively really bad at it. Maybe this paper's like too thick or something. I don't know. Obviously, it could also just be me. What if I just fold the rest? How committed to the stars am I? What have I done? I'm officially giving up on the stars and just gonna fold them. So this is going great. Okay, I feel like a quitter, but I'm trying to remind myself that this is for fun. Okay, I'm just thinking like an accordion style fold sounds like the easiest way to get them like relatively same size and dimension. Let's see how this goes. It's not as aesthetic and cute as I had hoped it would be. I think I did maybe 20 stars before I was like, I despise this and I'm not getting any better at this and therefore I don't want to do it. And it was going very slowly and I was just excited to pick a damn book, okay? So maybe I will revisit this concept. Maybe I will look up other cute ways to fold them that aren't as labor intensive. Honestly, I would rather print out every single book cover and put it in here than fold 100 tiny stars. So mad respect to all the cute girlies on TikTok who managed to do that, because this is hard. Not me, apparently. Anyway, maybe with a little less cute Pinterest quality aesthetic, this is the moment I have been waiting for. I want to pull a book off my TBR completely at random. Oh, let me tell you the prompts that I put in here that aren't book titles. We've got a memoir, but I spelled it wrong. That's iconic. A book that's under 300 pages, a pink book, a translated book, a blue book, a 2-word title, a popular book, and last, maybe my favorite, I'm gonna make Brady choose. Beyond that, I put every single title that I have on my physical TBR shelf aside from books that I already have a plan for, if that makes sense. For instance, books that I have a specific vision for a video, like a reading vlog. But to completely level with you, I'm gonna have to redo this. Like, I can't stand that there's some really cute stars and then there's just scrappy pieces of paper. And I kind of think I want to redo this. So if you have any ideas for how to do this in a slightly lazier way than I attempted, that would be great. And then when I do that, I think it'd be fun to throw more prompts in there. I'm really excited by that idea because it still gives me some freedom and flexibility to pick books based on my mood. And I could do things in there like post an Instagram poll or have a viewer pick a book. Let me know what your ideas are in the comment section down below. But in the meantime, I still want to choose one and read the book because starting in August, I'm letting my TBR jar pick at least one book. You have my word, although you've already seen how good my word is, so take that with a grain of salt. Well, let's pick one and then I'll read it. Okay, here we go. Now, do we think I'm going to choose a crumpled up piece of paper or a tightly little folded origami star out of here? I wonder. It also doesn't help that the little stars that are in here are so cute. I don't actually want to destroy them. I've really lost sight of the purpose of this quest that I set out on. So far so good. All right, here we go. What's it gonna be? Well, it looks like it's gonna be Brady's choice. Currently he's in the garage working on the motorcycles, so I'm gonna see how much he desires being on film. Even though I have not been good to it, the jar is already being good to me because that's the outcome that I was actually hoping for the most. I kind of feel like I can sway him a lot towards what I want. This is Brady.
Hi.
He does not like to read.
That's true.
Yeah, he doesn't like to read books. He is literate though, so there's that. The TBR jar has decided that you are choosing my book for TBR jar August.
That's exciting. Just one book for your TBR?
Just one book. Already I have lost the plot a little. First, I set out to do these little stars, see on the bottom there, but I quickly realized they were very time consuming and I hated making them and I was really bad at it.
But I saw one in there. See, there's a few. They look really cute.
Yeah. I was really frustrated, so I decided to make crumpled up pieces of paper. So I'm already frustrated. And then I went to go choose and I was like, I can't choose a star because I don't want to undo them because they're so cute and the rest are ugly. I've already diluted the mission, the purpose. So then when I chose you picking my book, you were like, I can't choose from all your shelves, narrow it down to 10. So I narrowed it down to 20. What you can't see is in front of us, there's a stack of books that I have narrowed down that are a very wide range of genres, and Brady's going to select from that. So already, this random TBR selection process is very much not random. I don't know how you're going to do this, but are you ready?
I'm going to make it random-ish.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Okay, so first, I think that, like, I'm just looking at the stack and immediately, like, big, bulky hardcovers are getting the axe.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, that has to go. Goodbye. Hey, hey, hey. Despite the fact that I actually really like the art and the font and the aesthetic of that book, I think it's got to go. My first criteria has narrowed down. It's eliminated 2 books. That one's not big, so it's fine. Those were just gigantic.
Do you want me to, how about I hold
in a lot of ways.
Hold on. Will you?
Okay.
Oh God. This is bad. This isn't working.
This was a bad idea. Okay, so next, this is kind of difficult because I know, because I've been with you for a long time, which ones of these have been on your TBR for a long time. And I definitely see some in here that I recognize. How long can you hold them?
Not very.
Your TBR will shrink if you can't. So let's send some through to the finals. Mexican Gothic.
All right.
Red Rising. Expiration dates.
I borrowed that from Summer.
The 2 on the bottom. I want A River Enchanted. And I want If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English. Actually, let's do Old Enough as well. So these are being eliminated due to, yeah.
You don't like the titles as much?
Something, I don't know. I feel like you've had Mexican Gothic since I've known you, so that's why this one made it through. On the bottom, of course. There's another book that I get this one confused with frequently, and so every time you pull this book up, I'm like, haven't you read that already and didn't you love it? It's kind of a similar cover, but regardless, that's why this made it through. It's time for it to leave the TBR. These 2 appear to be part of the same series. No? Come on.
They're not.
Are you serious? They look like is it at least the same author? They look the same. Like
same publisher.
But
okay. Different sizes. Look at that.
See though,
I see why you say that.
Yeah, the A Witch's Guide to whatever that was. Is that the fake dating one? How have you not read that one yet?
Because I've been saving it for the autumn.
Okay. Well, now that I know that those are not part of the same series, the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels gets the axe. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Okay. I don't know. For August, I feel like you need something like light and happy and easy. Red Rising is not giving me that vibe. It's giving me not that vibe. Mexican Gothic, I know absolutely nothing about it, but it seems like it takes itself pretty seriously, so maybe we get rid of that as well. So back to the TBR shelf. This as well, I feel like, probably takes itself very seriously. It seems like a heavy read for summer, even though it's short.
That narrows it down to these 4.
Okay. And I guess since you said that you want to save it for autumn, let's get rid of Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon.
Don't take any of my input.
I just took your input. You can't give input and me not take it.
Sad.
Once the input's there, it has to be considered, even if only subconsciously. So this is a borrowed book. You should unborrow it by reading it and giving it back. This has like a whole description on the back. This is just blurbs.
Hardcovers have them in the inside flap.
Okay, I'm choosing that. Summer, you're welcome. You're going to get your book back soon, maybe. Admittedly, I have chosen books for Bree to read before, and sometimes they still don't get read, so we'll see.
Well, I'm gonna read it in this video. Taking it with me tonight to dinner. I'm gonna read it. Except that it's white, which is scary.
Summer, if you receive your book back with ramen broth on it, sorry.
There you have it. Brady has selected Expiration Dates by Rebecca Serle. I have read 2 other books by this author, the first of which is In 5 Years, which I absolutely despised. The second of which was One Italian Summer, which I think I enjoyed it, and I think I really enjoyed it because I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook was narrated by Lauren Graham, aka Lorelai Gilmore. I believe the premise is that this main character receives a slip of paper every time she has a new love interest, and it has an expiration date on it. And one day she finally gets a blank piece of paper. I don't know. I like the concept of a little magical realism. That is something this author tends to do. So let's try it. How's that sound to you?
Sounds good for you.
Let's go read it. Wow, this is very close. So, quick chat. I also don't have any sort of mic besides the one on the camera, so I might have to like dub over this and explain this later because I totally left the house without bringing a mic. So I got about 50 pages into Expiration Dates. The premise is super cool so far. I really like the concept, and the writing is really beautiful, very immersive, but also super easy to read at the same time, if that makes sense. I also saw that Julia Whalen narrates the audiobook, so I put a hold on Libby just in case it comes available. But anyway, I had to pause because I got the date wrong in my planner for horror book club, and I had to read the book for that. So the book for that is I Was a Teenage Slasher. I'm really excited. I am this far from being done, so I need to get snacks, speed read the rest of it in the parking lot. Holy shit. But tonight, horror book club is hosting not only a book chat of this, but they're doing a watch party for Scream. Slashers, get it? So I am at the grocery store. I'm gonna pick up some snacks because obviously we need snacks for this. I'm starting to sweat, and the reason why is even though it's 95 degrees, I had to wear my Spooky Vibes only sweatshirt to talk about I Was a Teenage Slasher and watch Scream. It's like required. It's my spooky sweatshirt. So I'm loving this. I have to share my thoughts with you guys, maybe when I have a mic and I'm not sweating in a parking lot.
son, isn't it?
Billy was released. His cellular bill was clean. Didn't make those calls.
Seen wearing scary masks. School officials have yet to comment, but this is known to be the same costume worn by the killer. 17-year-old Casey Becker and her boyfriend Stephen Orr have already lost their lives. Who's next? You can literally
Hey, grab into the beer, would you? Let's do it.
It is 5:45 p.m. It has been a crazy work day. I just logged off and it has been just kind of nonstop crazy. And all I want to do is sit down and read, but unfortunately I can't. So tonight, Brady is photographing the local bike night at the Sonic in town, and I offered to go help and support that. So this weekend, when I set out to do a TBR jar and pick the book and read it, and record the journey, I did not expect it to turn into a multi-day, multi-book vlog, but here we are. That's what it's becoming, so surprise. Since this has turned into an accidental reading vlog of multiple books, let me give you a quick recap of where we're at in the book category. So far, I'm feeling kind of lukewarm about it. The premise is really cool, but I haven't gotten like really sucked in yet, if that makes sense. To be fair, part of the reason I feel that way is probably because I had to be derailed mid-book in order to pick up another book. So I totally messed up and thought I had until next week to read this, but instead I had to have it read by Tuesday. So I put this aside and picked up I Was a Teenage Slasher, and I loved this. This was so good. Such a different vibe, but incredible. I have so many thoughts about this that I need to organize so I can tell you that this was incredible. This was amazing, and the conversation was so good. I had so much fun, so that was really cool. So I should dive right back into expiration dates. However, I have another book I have to have read by tomorrow because I'm in another book club and I just got my hands on the book for it. It's called Hot Summer, and it is a dating show romance, UK Love in Paradise sort of TV show based romance. I believe it's sapphic. So theoretically, I should dive right back into expiration dates, right? Except that, surprise, this is a multi-book reading vlog now because by tomorrow I need to read Hot Summer for a different book club that I'm in. My bookseller friend is starting a romance book club at the bookstore that she works at, so obviously I have to go. Like, that sounds so fun. This is Hot Summer. I haven't seen it anywhere on the internet, but I just started it today. I'm on chapter 6. 63 pages in, and it's really fun. It is a British dating show in paradise, and it's sapphic, and it is so fun, and it makes me feel like it is absolutely the last hurrah of summer, if you know what I mean. So I need to knock this out by tomorrow evening, and then I can circle back to expiration dates, because after that I have 0 other self-imposed reading deadlines out there. I just want to finish this month so it can count for my August TBR jar pick. So I have a few options for my actual TBR jar because the rolled up pieces of paper are not going to cut it. My philosophy is that I should be excited to interact with it, otherwise I'm never going to use it. I'm hearing myself say all this aloud and I sound pretty silly. So these are the options I'm thinking. Number 1, I can make those little tiny books that are kind of trendy on the internet. I made some for an ornament before and it was really fun and pretty easy. And maybe for the prompts I could do a fun piece of paper and then color code it. I don't know. That could be a little intensive, but it sounds maybe easier than folding 100 pieces of paper. Alternatively, I can go get more cute, fun paper, and instead of crumpling them up in the way that they're in there now, I can actually cut more intentionally sized pieces to fold into little squares instead of whatever they are now. The last option is to stop being this silly and just make do with the way that it is. We'll see. With all that being said, I've got to get over to bike night. It starts in 2 minutes at 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna head over, and thankfully it's only 5 minutes away, so I won't be that late, and photograph some motorcycles. Anyway, gotta go. Hi there. Hey. How was your photo shoot tonight?
It was good. I got almost 400 photos, and I'm going through now to see which ones are worth keeping
Show us.
and which ones aren't. This is the one I'm on now.
Oh. So for the event itself, Brady, out of 100, what percentage do you think was cringe and what percentage do you think was cool?
I think most of it is cool, but cringy things happen, and cringy things do make appearances.
Percentage, give me a number.
75 cool, 25 cringe.
Opposite, at least 75% cringe. The coolest part was someone gave me free mozzarella sticks. The coolest part was my cherry limeade. I want to read more tonight, and then I better, because tomorrow I have book club to talk about the book. So far, I'm currently loving it. I'm having a silly, goofy time. I'm loving the book, and I'm absolutely confident I'll be able to fly through it if I keep reading tonight. Do you want to watch Love Island UK after I finish this book?
Love Island, UK?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
How riveting is this content? Yet again, I have found myself in the situation of almost reaching the end of the book on the day of the book club. So let's see, how much do I have left? I am on page 324, and I have to get to page 372 by the next hour and a half. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the coffee shop next door to the bookstore, order coffee, finish it really fast, and then walk over to club. So that's my plan, and I'm really excited. I'm going to take you with me. And then after that, I will finally dig into expiration notes. Finally, we're here. I have to tell you that I'm having so much fun with Hot Summer. So the premise is that our main character, Cass, works for this dating app, and she unfortunately has a pretty grueling job. She has to go to like club after club and host events for the dating app, to promote the dating app. So the leadership at this app, for reasons that you don't need to think that hard about, decide that the best way for her to advance in her career is to put her on the hottest dating show around, which is called Hot Summer. It's very clearly a spoof on like Love Island, which I have to admit I've never seen. So of course she joins the show with this ironclad NDA that she is not allowed to talk about the fact that she works for a dating app, because that might seem like a conflict of interest, because let's be clear, it is. So Cass is on the show for the wrong reasons and is just kind of gonna be there, get her bag, get out, come back to a promotion waiting for her. That's the plan, right? Her plan is not to meet the gorgeous, smart, kind, lovely Ada, and that is the story. I don't need to tell you anything else. I think from there you can put it together. It is sapphic. It is delightful. It is very funny. I have really enjoyed the side characters and the fake premise of the dating show. Ironically, this is not the first dating show romance that I've read. I read One to Watch, and I also read The Charm Offensive, and I really liked both of them, and I'm really liking this one. Maybe I am a dating show romance novel girly. I love the idea that there's these people who are skeptical when coming on these reality dating TV shows, understandably, and then along the way they find real love. Like, what a fantastical, fun premise. I love that. And of the few dating TV shows I have watched, I really like the success stories, so it kind of makes sense that this is for me. But I haven't finished it yet. The third act conflict is in the midst of unfolding, and it is hot, piping hot drama, and I'm eating it up. So I've got to go and finish it. I've got a little under an hour and a half to get over there, crank it out, walk over, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a smaller book club tonight, which I'm kind of excited about, and I think the vibes are just going to be stellar, superb, excellent, and I can't wait. So I'm going to take you with me, and then tonight, sir, I think the vibes are going to be superb. I'm going to take you with me, and then we're going to come back here, and I'm going to pick up expiration notes to read it. I still have to figure out what I'm doing with my TBR jar. Yet another day has passed, and I have not made a decision. If you were ever curious about my reading habits and you wanted to know how I decide what to read next, this is a somewhat accurate representation of the pure chaos that my TBR/reading order ends up being. It's probably like 60% mood reading, 10% seeing bright, shiny things, getting distracted, like a new release or something, and then the rest is self-imposed deadlines. Anyway, it's time to go, so come on, let's go.
Which is perfect. So, anyways, that's an option too. But all the teas are here.
I brought my mic this time so I could give you an update with a mic, but then it died. So I recorded a whole clip of just me talking with no sound. So we're gonna try it again, and hopefully, again, this sounds okay. I don't know. It's the Hot Mess Express vlog. The weather is supposed to be a little cooler this weekend, and it's like randomly raining, so it's kind of feeling like maybe autumn is right around the corner. I don't know. The work week is finally over. I just went and met my friend Summer to get our nails done. We also went to a bookstore, and I got a copy of Nona the Ninth. This is the third book in the Locked Tomb trilogy. I've read Gideon, I have not read Harrow, and obviously I've not read Nona, so I want to catch up and get on that. I feel like this would be a good fall series to catch up on, so that's my plan. And it was $7, like, come on. You probably can't hear me over the rain. I tried to record this audio earlier, but my mic died. I have it literally like plugged into the car right now. So hopefully it works now. The second time I tried to record it, I said the same thing over again, but it was pouring rain. And I have a feeling that that audio is probably not usable because it was pouring rain. So let me catch you up. Anyway, I have read 2 books in between the beginning and end of expiration dates, and I fully brought this with me because I planned on returning it to Summer, but she can't have it back yet because I'm not done with it. I got about halfway through last night, then I switched to the audiobook when I was driving around doing my errands. The holds came through for me on Libby, and Julia Whalen is the narrator, and I love whenever she's the narrator, so that's actually increasing my enjoyment a lot more. If you had asked me this morning, I would have said I felt pretty lukewarm about this because the premise is incredible, the setting and the descriptive writing is absolutely stunning. This author is so good at like transportive love letters to setting and just beautiful, again, like descriptive imagery. She's so good at making you feel in the moment. And I should have known because I've read her other 2 books, but there's always something that's not in the description that is heavy and intense. So again, yesterday I would have said it's a cool premise and a cool concept and really beautiful, but I don't feel a connection to the characters and there's no emotional depth at all, which is fine. It's okay to just like a book for vibes. But again, she always does this thing that there's something gut-wrenching that happens in every single one of her books that makes it feel more laden with emotion and maybe grief or something heavy going on. And this one, just like the other 2, no spoilers, has something that's revealed that heightens the stakes. And for this one, I have some very complicated mixed feelings about it, but it has definitely increased my investment like 100-fold. So there is that. I no longer think this will be kind of a forgettable, just vibes only sort of a book. I am on page 212. I have about 30 pages left, so I am probably going to pause it for now. I'm going to go thrifting with my friends. We're going to grab a drink. Then I'm going to meet Brady for dinner, where we're going to have ramen for the second time in a week. We have a problem. And then I will finish this tonight. And then I will be able to check in, tell you my thoughts about all 3 of the books that I read in this vlog. Hope you've enjoyed this spontaneous, accidental, completely unhinged little vlog that we were both surprised by. And then the last thing I will have to do before I close this out is get my TBR jar in a better spot than it is right now. I think I have a plan. I think I've decided what I'm gonna do. So we'll tackle that tomorrow, just in time for it to be September, and I can use it in its full form for my September TBR jar selection. What do we think of that? Also today, while I was out and about, I did get Duesy a dog toy. This is an acorn that has another toy inside of it. I actually found this and got this for him last year, and it was his favorite toy he's had since he was a puppy. So every time I go to TJ Maxx, I look and see if this brand has another like toy within a toy. And I found the exact same one finally. Fall, a year later. Apparently this is just a fall seasonal item at TJ Maxx. So I got it for $6.99, and I can't wait to bring this home to Duesy tonight and see if he loves it. So yeah, treats for everybody today. So let's go do some thrifting. I don't have anything I'm looking for or anything like that. I'm actually pretty bad at thrifting. I find it to sometimes get really stressful and like overwhelming. So I'm really glad I've got some friends with me, which is always nice. I always need other opinions. I can't decide things on my own. So anyway, let's go thrifting.
It's our favorite place.
Hey buddy, Duesy, what do you think? Come here, Duesy, come. Come here. Hey, look. am thrilled to report that I am so happy with how my TBR jar ended up. This was actually so fun to do, and I enjoyed it so much that I can see myself printing out a new sheet and making more books every time I obtain a bunch of books. I also love the idea that I can take the physical trophy of the book I read and take it out of here and put it in like a books I read jar. The books themselves turned out so stinking cute, and they were super easy to make. I had the best time just going through all the different steps in the process, and this was way more rewarding and enjoyable than folding teeny tiny stars, which I have learned I am not good at. And I am so excited to pick a book out of here for my September TBR. My favorite part is that I sized the books perfectly to actually slide into this little coin slot on the top. I think that worked out really well. I decided to completely randomize the paper and the numbers so that if that's the one I draw, I have no idea what the prompt is gonna be. For absolutely no reason, I ended up completely switching out the prompts, and I like the idea that I can just change them at a later date if I get tired of one or want to switch it up based on the season or something like that. Ultimately, this was so fun to make, and I'm so happy with how it turned out that I think I achieved my goal of making something that I'm excited to use so that I make more physical headway on my TBR. So this was a win. It was really fun, and the journey to get here may have been messy, but I love where we ended up. Now let's talk about the books that I read over this past week, including the one that I read for the jar selection for August. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, but my least favorite that I've read is absolutely Expiration dates. But honestly, this one's on me. Somehow I have read 3 books from this author and I still haven't figured out until now that maybe her books just aren't for me. These are absolutely not romance novels. I don't know if they're shelved in romance. Probably not. I don't know why I got it in my head that they are, because this is absolutely not a romance novel. All 3 of them have something really depressing and heavy at the center, which you would not know from the packaging of this book and the blurb. For the most part, my philosophy is that when I'm disappointed by a book, it's generally because what I experienced did not meet my expectations, which is why it's best for me to go in with as little expectations as possible, or sort of knowing that a book may not take itself seriously or a book is going to be intense or heavy. Does that make sense? And I should have known, because this author clearly has a formula, that this was going to happen in this book. But no spoilers, but somewhere around the like 60% mark, there is a twist. There is something revealed that just heightens the stakes in a way that I think is kind of cheap. And I have a lot of conflicting feelings about the particular trope that this author uses to create emotionality that I don't think is, I don't know, I don't think it's very earned. And I personally was disappointed that that was the route the author chose to go, and the way she handled it was just not my favorite. I've seen this particular trope handled so much better in other stories. I also think that this particular content could be a little triggering or traumatizing for people that don't expect it. Anyway, I should know better. There is always some sort of traumatizing, debilitating, depressing, heavy twist in this author's adult work. And that's on me. One thing I will say to credit this author is that her writing is absolutely gorgeous. The descriptions of setting are stunning. There are beautiful descriptions of Paris and San Francisco, but ultimately this is a love letter to LA, and I really enjoyed the way this author transported you to different cities and restaurants and apartments. I think that she has a really beautiful, magical writing style that really works for me. The premise of this is so clever, but there is just a lot of heavy-handed attempts at being very profound, and there is just so much unnecessary drama and idiotic secret keeping that causes conflict that you can see from a mile away. You know what I'm trying to say. The premise is that every time Daphne meets a new man, she receives a mysterious slip of paper that has nothing on it except for the man's name and the length of time that their relationship is going to last. Until one day she gets a slip of paper that just says Jake, with no number. And then the story unfolds. I do think there are specific people out there who will definitely appreciate this. You will love this if you are a fan of early Taylor Jenkins Reid, like One True Loves or maybe In Another Life. If you like those books. Also, if you loved The Midnight Library, you will definitely eat this one up. But definitely don't go picking this up expecting a light, magical realism little love story, because that is not what you will get. That is not what I experienced, and I'd be curious to know if you have read this. Did you have a similar experience? Or if you're intelligent and you picked this up knowing what you were getting into, like I should have. And if you have read this, you have to let me know because I need to complain about that ending. It doesn't help that I hate the choice that Daphne makes to my very core. So hopefully September's TBR jar pick will be one that I love a lot more than I loved this one, but I'm really glad I read it and now I can go return this copy to its rightful owner. And I can also let Brady know that when he wanted to pick a fun light summer book, he, like me, was mistaken. Then there's Hot Summer, which I tore through in a day and a half. This was a fun, silly, goofy time, and I had a blast with it. This is a sapphic summer rom-com that takes place on the set of a popular dating reality TV show a la Love Island UK. There is delicious drama and the sweetest friendships and side characters. I loved them all. And I've never seen Love Island or The Bachelorette, but if they were like this, I 100% would. So in this book, we meet Cass, who is hungry for career growth, and she joins the cast of this hottest new season of Hot Summer. With the intention to win over the public and to score a promotion, love is the last thing on her mind. Until she meets her incredibly sexy fellow castmates, obviously. This unfolds just like the scenes of your favorite TV drama. It's sweet and sexy and steamy and a really silly, fun, good time. This was so addictive and I really enjoyed tearing through it and then asking my reality TV show obsessed friends what parts of this are actually true. Like, I had no idea that they film the room that everyone sleeps in. What? Or bringing in bombshells halfway through the season? Oh my gosh, chaos. On top of that, my friend who hosted this book club had a literal tea party for us to come and discuss it with sweet treats and all sorts of tea. And that was so adorable and fun and wholesome. And that definitely makes this book a more rose-colored experience in my mind. And ultimately, there's not much more to it than meets the eye. It's just a ton of fun. And of course, saving the best for last. I Was a Teenage Slasher, which is the newest release by Stephen Graham Jones that came out in July. One of the best books I've read this year. This was incredible. This is the stream of conscious coming of age account from a teenage slasher who goes on a murderous rampage in Lamesa, Texas in 1989. It's got the recipe for a summer horror slasher, but it is self-aware and meta. It is full of 80s nostalgia and it takes place in a somewhat anthropomorphized small town. If you like slasher movies, this is full of Easter eggs for you, and it is packed full with self-aware, very dark humor. I Was a Teenage Slasher is full of blood and guts, but it's also full of heart. This is about Tolly Driver, who butchered his classmates in a bloody killing spree. Here is his reflection, his confession, and his perspective. What unfolds is a gruesome bloodbath, but also an emotional and heart-rending love letter. This is a love letter to the villains of the old VHS tapes that made you and your friends stay up far too late at high school slumber parties. This is a love letter to small-town Permian Basin, West Texas. This is also a love letter to the final girl. It is subversive, thoughtful, and absolutely brilliant. I've never read a more vulnerable horror novel. This is a masterpiece, and Stephen Graham Jones is a legend among us, a master in his craft. I objectively think this is one of the best horror novels I've ever read. This will go on my stack of my favorite horror novels that I've ever read. However, I do want to admit my bias, which is that reading this and then discussing it and then watching Scream in a bookstore with my friends eating junk food is going to be a core memory for me forever that I associate with this book. Like rose-colored glasses, bias, sure. I just had the best time, and if you have a horror book club, you should consider doing the same. You're welcome. Well, there you have it. Those are the 3 books I read this week. If you made it all the way here to the end of this very long, very chaotic, surprise vlog, first of all, thank you so much. It means the world to me that you came on this journey with me, and I'd love to know who's still here. So leave me a jar emoji to let me know that you made it to the end and that you got to witness the success of the TBR jar, the final product that I set out on this mission to accomplish, and the reason that I went on the journey that I went on. So yeah, leave me the jar emoji emoji down below. Also, one of these books in here is prompt number 13, and that prompt is to let Instagram decide. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, because at some point I will be drawing number 13 and you're gonna have to help me pick when that happens. And with that, it's officially September. So if you wanna see what I pull out of the jar next, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. And with that, it's officially September. So be sure to like and subscribe so that you can see what comes out of the jar for the next month. And I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.